champions. Two remarkable careers. The NFL felt both players' impacts immediately. Ray Lewis anchoring a Super Bowl defense. Peyton Manning shattering NFL records. Lewis redefining the position of middle linebacker. Manning earning a Super Bowl trophy of his own.
Let's go, sense of urgency from here on out. We going for a ring, man. Nothing else don't matter, man.
Ray Lewis leads the AFC North champion Baltimore Ravens. Tough, resilient, with an arsenal that hits hard and goes deep. They know the disappointment of coming so close. Is this their last chance? Peyton Manning leads the AFC West champion Denver Broncos. Confident and on a roll. Winners of 11 straight and laser focused on number 12. It's a face-off of icons.
Windows 8 takes you first on the field on a day when the Mile High City has turned ice cold. Hale and Hardy football fans have come to see two of the great Warriors. Denver quarterback Peyton Manning, who may have turned a comeback year into yet another MVP season, and Baltimore linebacker Ray Lewis, whose Hall of Fame career is coming to an end, but he hopes not here, not today. It's the opener of the NFL divisional playoffs. Today's winner between the Broncos and the Ravens faces the winner of tomorrow's matchup between Houston and New England in next week's AFC Championship game and the right to move on to Super Bowl 47. The weather, in a word, is cold. 13 degrees, wind chill close to zero, and a heat wave is not in the foreseeable future. Welcome to Denver, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with my Hall of Fame partner, Dan Dierdorf. It is the top storyline of the day right now, Dan. What does cold weather do to these teams?
Well, the big guys don't care, but if you have to handle the football, whether that's the center quarterback exchange, if you throw it, run with it, or catch it, it's going to be a lot more difficult this afternoon.
Speaking of storylines, that's what Peyton Manning has been here in Denver all season long. A lot of great stories across the NFL, but none better than him.
No, not after missing all of last year. He will wear that glove again today. He wore it for the last couple games of the regular season where he threw 6 touchdown passes, so he's feeling very comfortable going into this game. Now, they played on December the 16th, and Ray Lewis did not play in that game. We all saw him play last week. He played the entire game defensively. He is back, and so are a bunch of his teammates that missed that first game. Take a look at this. Key contributors, Ellerbe, Pollard, Yanda, Dixon, all of them did not play on that December the 16th game, won handily by Denver.
It's cold. It's the playoffs. It's Baltimore and Denver. And today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television.
Okay, so what kind of car should I get? Definitely something with 4 doors. New or used? Used. It's gotta be black.
Now compare new and used cars and even special offers side by side.
Now that's a good deal.
So when you find the right car,
That's the one.
there won't be any doubt in your mind. Autotrader.com, the ultimate automotive marketplace.
Using cloud computing and mobile technology, Verizon innovators have developed a projective display for firefighters, allowing them to see through anything. Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions. Powerful answers. Verizon.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in Denver, Colorado, working with us on the sidelines today, our colleague Solomon Wilcox. Solly?
Hey, Greg, because of the extreme temperatures here in Denver, not only will Peyton Manning wear a glove on that right hand, but this week in practice, he took the preparation to an entirely different level. He would practice with a bucket of ice water nearby. He would dip his throwing hand in that bucket of ice water, put the glove back on, and then go out to practice, all to simulate what it feels like to throw the ball with very little filling in his hand. Now, it's a testament to the detailed preparation, but it's also a testament of his concern for the extreme conditions. Let's see if he's ready for this Baltimore Ravens defense here today.
Solomon, thank you. Dan and I underwent no such preparation getting ready for today's game. That's Jacoby Jones back to receive. He has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this season, 1 punt for a touchdown. But at this altitude, it's doubtful whether or not he'll be able to do it.
And I think that really hurts Baltimore because he is such a weapon for them. And again, he probably will not get much of a chance here today because of the thin air.
Denver won the toss. They have deferred. So Baltimore will get their hands on the football first, and the divisional playoffs are underway. Not even close. Out of the end zone. Joe Flacco playing out his contract in Baltimore, trying to prove that he's the Ravens franchise quarterback of the future. 2 touchdown passes in last week's wild card win over the Indianapolis Colts. He knows, the Ravens know, they will have to contend with a lot of noise here today. First down, it's Ray Rice, and Rice off the right side for about 5 yards. Injuries have forced plenty of shuffling on the offensive line, but Baltimore gets Pro Bowl guard Marshall Yanda back. And Flacco has talented receivers, but the Ravens will look to establish what you just saw, the run with Ray Rice. 2nd and 5. First pass of the day on the slant, that is complete. Very close to a first down to Anquan Boldin, who was held without a catch in their meeting a month ago.
And certainly no surprise that right off the bat they're going to try to get Boldin involved. And Anquan was very much looking forward to this rematch today. You're right, a receiver of that caliber, he is not used to having a goose egg show up on the scoreboard and on the scorebook.
His 10th season in the league, it was only the 2nd time in his career he had been held without a reception. First down. Straight ahead, across the 35, out to about the 37, 38-yard line. The Broncos' number 2 rated defense, Wolf and Dumerville, with 17 sacks between them. At linebacker, number 58, Von Miller, with 18.5, all by himself. And the secondary has the great Champ Bailey, the owner of 52 career interceptions.
Greg, very encouraging here on the first couple of first downs that the Ravens got that kind of production from Ray Rice. 2 carries already, 13 yards, but look at this, 2nd and short. That's the offensive play caller's dream.
Flacco throwing over the middle, and that is incomplete. Broken up by Chris Harris, intended for Boldin.
Well, let's see if Denver comes after Joe Flacco. They're off the edge. They bring 5, but he's got good protection. He throws a very good pass. It hits the hands of Boldin, but Chris Harris was right there pulling down the arm.
Von Miller with the stop.
Well, Von Miller, hard to have a better year than he had, and look how he fights upfield, goes through the inside shoulder of Michael Orr into the backfield. Michael Orr was taking a pass set and actually inviting Von Miller upfield, and he was more than happy to accommodate it.
Trendon Holiday back for the punt. To his own 10. Breaking free, right side. Gets a block. Holiday down the sideline. Touchdown, Denver.
Up the right side. I think he's going to get a key block from Mike Adams. And a major breakdown in the lane assignments for the Ravens coverage team. And that is just asking way too much to ask Sam Cook to make that tackle. And Peyton goes, I don't mind not getting an offensive series. A touchdown is a touchdown. And isn't it interesting, Greg? We talked to John Harbaugh about special teams and the role they could play for Baltimore in this game. Not negatively, but positively.
Extra point is good. Trindon Holiday returned a punt 76 yards for a touchdown during the regular season. He takes this one 89 yards. 7-0 Denver.
Are you a business traveler who can withstand the perils of air travel? Can you survive change fees, blackout dates, boarding in mobs? Do you actually, in a weird way, kind of enjoy rude service? Then you might have what it takes to keep flying your airline. If you don't, then stop playing the airline game by their rules. Come on over to Southwest, the one airline that changed the game for the whole industry.
Find it? All right, another one just like that. Right in the old bucket. Good toss. See, that's much better. That was good. You had your shoulder pointed, you kept your eyes on your target. Let's do it again. Watch me. Just like that one.
The durability of the Volkswagen Passat. Passed down something he will be grateful for.
Good arm.
That's the power of German engineering.
Back to you.
Using robotics and mobile technology, Verizon innovators have made it possible for teachers to teach.
Stage of the frog.
And for a kid to feel like a kid again. Because the world's biggest challenges deserve even bigger solutions. Powerful answers. Verizon.
First comes the engagement. Now, meet the parents.
My dad is a scary guy.
I think I can handle Vampire in the Daylight. Vampire in the Daylight.
A new How I Met Your Mother. Then it's a big bang.
Sheldon Cooper presents Fun with Flags.
On a special night.
I'm surrendering to fun.
A special Big Bang Theory after a new How I Met Your Mother Monday.
It has been officially called a 90-yard punt return for Trindon Holiday. The first punt return touchdown in postseason Denver Broncos history. On the Baltimore sideline, time to regroup. Jacoby Jones hoping for a chance to do the same thing. And he'll get a chance to run this one out. He dropped it. Still looking for it inside the 5 and buried at about the 6-yard line.
Well, let's go back and look at this punt return by Holiday, and I'll tell you what he's going to see. Take a look right here. This is the lone Raven on this side of the hash marks. And watch this. Look at the lane breakdowns. Finally, another guy joins him, but too little, too late. They weren't able to get back in their proper lanes. The breakdown had already occurred, and trying to move laterally into a position to cut off the punt return guy was just late.
Bernard Pierce into the backfield. Flacco and the Ravens in a hole. And this is Pierce for a couple.
Well, Baltimore was lamenting the fact that Jacoby Jones might not even get a chance to return a kickoff. And then when they do get the opportunity, this is what happens. Just bounces right off his chest. And then even when he tries to pick it up the second time, he's not able to corral the football. And geez, after a couple promising first down runs by Ray Rice, things have flipped in a hurry on the Ravens.
On 2nd and 8. Flacco throwing, and he misses his tight end, Ed Dixon, number 84.
Again, Jim Caldwell is calling the plays for the Ravens. Cam Cameron was let go back in early December. And again, I have been at this location before, backed up in your own end zone in front of these crazy fans. You can't hardly hear anything except your heartbeat.
Baltimore was just 1 out of 12 on 3rd down when they met a month ago. They are 0 for 1 today. Here's their second 3rd down attempt. Flacco going to go deep down the sideline, and it is incomplete. And a penalty marker thrown.
Tandon Doss was the intended receiver. He was being covered by Tony Carter. And Carter forced Doss out of bounds.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. Cut off. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
Bill Vinovich is our referee today.
Well, Tandon Doss, who has great speed, is just flying up the sidelines. Nothing fancy about this pattern, but look at all the contact, and that is way beyond the 5 yards. That alone could have drawn a flag, and then Carter forces him out of bounds, but a little too much hand fighting on the part of Tony Carter, way beyond the 5-yard zone.
Ray Rice back into the backfield. Flacco to throw again. Pulls it down, now throws, and that's complete across the 40-yard line to Anquan Boldin.
Then Anquan Boldin talking it over with Wesley Woodyard, the leading tackler for Denver. And again, they just want to get Boldin involved early. He had such a good game last week against Indianapolis. 5 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown.
That 145 yards, a franchise playoff record for receiving yardage. 2nd and 2. Flacco with time, gonna go deep, has a man open down the middle of the field. It is caught. Touchdown, Torrey Smith.
What a great job of protection by the offensive line, followed up by a magnificent throw from Joe Flacco. First of all, the 4-man rush. They don't get anywhere near Joe. He steps into it and drops it right onto the hands of Torrey Smith, who beats Champ Bailey, who runs away from Champ Bailey, and Champ Bailey going to his 12th Pro Bowl. But what a job up front by this revamped offensive line, and Joe Flacco delivers a perfect pass.
59-yard touchdown pass. And Joe Flacco told us he had no intention of wearing a glove today. He does just fine without a glove on his throwing hand. The extra point is good. All kinds of action early on. 10:31 to play in the first quarter. Joe Flacco celebrating. 7-7 tie.
At Scottrade, we believe the more you know, the better you trade. So we have ongoing webinars and interactive learning, plus in-branch seminars at over 500 locations, where our dedicated support teams help you know more so your money can do more.
At Scottrade, $7 trades are just the start. Our teams have the information you want when you need it. It's another reason more investors are saying,
I'm with Scottrade.
Up next for Career Day, quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
That State Farm agent said she helps people. What do you do?
I play football.
That's not a job.
Well...
Did you save my dad hundreds with the discount double check?
No, but I was MVP last year.
Mr. Hubble says trophies are for people with self-esteem issues.
Who's Mr. Hubble?
That's Rod Hubble.
No, it is not.
For savings, we're best in class.
Hey, Roger! Discount double check!
Get to a better state. State Farm.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Volkswagen Passat. That's the power of German engineering. And by State Farm. Get to a better state with a discount double check.
Back in Denver, where the weather hasn't affected big plays on either side so far, as you look at John Fox. His 11th year as a head coach, his second here in Denver. And Trendon Holiday, who already has a 90-yard punt return, now back for the kick. Holiday from the 2. And out to about the 25-yard line before he is pushed back. Let's go back to that touchdown pass.
Well, Torrey Smith and Champ Bailey are locked up right down here. But watch the safety who gets cleared. He's going to get caught up on a crossing pattern across the middle. He's going to step up, take that. By the time he can recover, he's in no position to help Bailey. But Champ Bailey is used to that. He's used to being all by himself on man coverage. Normally, it's good enough that time. Well executed by every member of the Baltimore offense.
And now here's Peyton Manning with gloves on both hands. His first offensive series. No Sean Moreno for a couple.
Well, Peyton wearing them on both hands. In the last 2 games of the season, he wore the glove on his throwing hand. And certainly, I would think that when the ball is as hard as it is in these temperatures in the teens, that's got to help taking the snap.
Manning. And that one thrown just a little bit behind Demaryius Thomas, his intended receiver. An already strong Denver offensive line gets right guard Chris Cooper back. He's missed the last 4 games. And wide receivers Thomas and Eric Decker have caught 23 of Peyton's 37 touchdown passes.
What a shot in the arm Joe Flacco gave his football team. A mishandled kickoff return gives them terrible field position, and they convert it into a touchdown.
Manning now looking at a 3rd and 7. Throwing, tip, intercepted, picked off by the Ravens. Corey Graham to the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, the word that comes to mind to describe the Ravens right now is resilient. This crowd is completely quiet. Peyton Manning puts the ball right there, but talk about the old tip drill when it just gets popped up into the air. Breaking in underneath, here comes Decker. Now there was some contact early. There's no question that the Ravens got away with a little something there. You could see Decker's upper body move and kind of take a jolt from contact before the ball arrived. That doesn't matter. Down 7-0. The Ravens find themselves now with a touchdown lead.
They have come roaring back.
You could say that.
14 points for the Ravens in the last 42 seconds. John Harbaugh told us last night he would be shocked if his team didn't play well today. They lead it by a touchdown.
Excuse me, Maestro. Bring it down, please. Better. That's what happens to background noise when you're making a call on this. This microphone here picks up the sounds around you and helps turn them down. So when the world gets noisy, calls sound better.
This is more than a paycheck, and you need to stretch every dollar of it. That's why TurboTax lets you file your simple federal return for free. It's free to prepare, print, e-file, and you can even chat with a tax expert. Get the federal free edition at TurboTax.com.
Creating a financial safety net can seem like an impossible goal. But once you take the first step, you'll find there's nothing standing in your way. MetLife, I can do this.
Careful, you're no longer invisible in a midsize sedan. The Volkswagen Passat, winner of a Motor Trend midsize sedan comparison. That's the power of German engineering.
Hey, Monday on CBS. To solve this case, America will vote for the ending live. 3 suspects, 3 endings, your choice. New Hawaii Five-0, Monday, only CBS. John Fox, his team up in a hurry and then down in a hurry. Been a while since the Broncos have been behind in a football game. And Ray Lewis.
He knows there's a long way to go in this football game.
Meanwhile, Peyton Manning.
He was looking for a flag. You can see him gesturing afterwards. What the heck? Where's the laundry?
Trendon Holiday in the end zone for the kick. He'll get a chance to return this one. He will. About 5 or 6 yards deep in the end zone. Across the 15, across the 20, and out to about the 25-yard line. Let's go back. Did you see interference, Dan?
Well, you know, when you slow it down in slow motion, you can certainly see. You know, here's Decker. Watch him come across. Shockey Brown, number 23, the guy there at the top of the screen. He's going to come in, and he's going to pull down Decker's left arm before the ball gets there. Now that, we're watching it in very slow motion. The officiating crew calls that a bang-bang play, that it was boom, boom, and that is very tough to administer. It could have been called. It wasn't. Very close.
On first down, this is Moreno, and Moreno stopped for no gain. Those returns against Denver, the punt return, the kickoff return, and the interception return, the only returns against Denver all season long.
And you know, you look back on and how Baltimore got there. We keep in mind that the big interference call against Tony Carter that allowed Baltimore to get out from, you know, backed up into their own end zone.
Manning throwing outside, and that's complete. We have a penalty marker down as Joel Dreesen takes it across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Bill Vinovich did not go to the microphone.
Well, that's a signal for an ineligible player downfield. That could happen if what happens is you cover up. If one of the receivers lines up in the wrong place, then all of a sudden if he's covered, he can't get out. He's not eligible to go out.
So Denver and Manning are now looking at 2nd and 16 from the 20-yard line. Looks like the same pass to Dreesen. And Dreesen out of bounds short of the 30-yard line.
And that time you see Terrell Suggs was actually the Baltimore defender back there in coverage. He is much more of a pass rushing type guy, and when he's called upon to get back in coverage, he does a pretty good job of